All right, here's a flood from up above. There's a toilet where some inner mechanism of the float valve broke, and water came streaming down this ceiling into the kitchen. And I'm looking here at water up in the ceiling. There's two giant bubbles there. Water rippling down this wall behind the granite and into the cabinets. It came all over into the stove right here. And here's a closet. And these walls right here are soaking wet. Water coming all the way down. This is a brand new furnace. This whole furnace and return is wet. Water was rushing kind of like probably like a little bit of a stream streaming down these floors. It actually wicked up the edge of the couch about up to the cushions and probably out the slider, but this flooring is all wet here. I'm looking up here at the ceiling. I don't know if you can see that, but it's streaming along these joists out that vent. All these tape joints are wet. And then you can see this entire wall right here, how rippled the texture is. There's big bubbles. So it is in all of these walls, and we're gonna have to open those walls up and dry it out and rebuild it. All right, this is where it started. This valve right here just broke off. I don't know through age or where, or I don't know. Broke off. And when the water is turned on, it was just doing this for who knows how long, like a drinking fountain. The lid was on, but the water had filled to the top and overflowed, pooled in this room, probably went underneath and everything underneath it, and that's why it's soaked in downstairs. The back side of this wall is all wet. We used our infrared camera, and it soaked up about 2 feet all along this side of the bed and this side of the bed. And this entire ceiling below this floor is wet. All right, we're back in a house that we recently looked at when it was flooding. And since that time, we've dried down the structure and kind of opened it up. And I'm here to show you what it's all about. All right, originally the leak started up above in a bathroom where a toilet was overflowing, and it was streaming down into this kitchen, ruined the cabinets, the appliances, everything in this kitchen, and got all the drywall wet, and water, if you remember, was flowing out this hardwood floors and out the slider. But what we did is we came in and removed the sheetrock that was wet. We knew that this had been wet for at least a week, maybe longer, and we removed all the wet sheetrock and then put in a bunch of dehumidifiers and fans and some heaters as well, and we dried down the entire structure. It took us about 3 days to get it dry enough. As you can see here, this was where water was just dripping down like rain onto on my client's furniture. And there was a couch here, and it had wicked up the sides. So anyway, we have done our dry down, and now we're going to do, unfortunately, a little bit of mold remediation. When water sits for any length of time, more than say 48 hours, it can start growing mold. And so that's what we have going on here. Some areas of mold growth, and we're gonna sand everything up, clean it up, get a test, and then move on to the reconstruction. So here's the mold growth that I'm talking about. You know, it's not everywhere, but we have to sand everything regardless. There's, you know, starts of mold that you can't see. So just because it's black, you know, that's not just the mold that's there. It's could be anywhere. And so as a precaution, we will be sanding down and mold remediating everything here that is opened up. So here's the upstairs. It's a loft area, and the water came out underneath that wall and got everything here wet. And it's all dry now. And we're in here working in the tub area, getting some tile out just before we finish up. But you know, we're anxious to put this back. The homeowner is anxious to get out of a hotel room that she's in, and we're going to start the reconstruction probably in a few days.